Welcome to the Lord Rexworth podcast, where we embark on a transformative journey to set your mind and spirit on the right path. I'm Lord Rexworth. Join me from Castle Rexworth as we engage in insightful conversations with a diverse range of guests, including VTubers, content creators, and thought leaders. Delve into the realms of creativity, inspiration, and self-discovery as we explore the stories and perspectives that shape the digital landscape. And our guest this week is Bloodraven Plays, a 19th century blood-manipulating vampire on a quest for world-conquering shenanigans. A variety streamer, streaming great games like Baldur's Gate every Thursday, Genshin every Friday. Please welcome everybody, Bloodraven Plays. Raven, welcome in.
Hello. Oh my god, that was that was a really nice little intro. I love it.
Yes, it's something I wrote to intro the program long ago, and then I literally just pulled up your Twitch page and just read the About section. So there's the magic trick right there.
Fair enough.
You did half of my work for me long ago, and you never even realized it.
You're welcome, I guess. In that regard. Oh my god.
So, Raven, you are a VTuber, obviously.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Tell us about that. I guess we can start with the obvious questions of how did you get started in this whole VTubing business, and what led up to you deciding, you know what, I'd like to be a 19th century blood manipulating vampire and cause a bunch of world conquering shenanigans.
Oh god, they're having questions already. Okay, so I've technically been I've been like not completely associated with the VTubing community, but I've always watched other VTubers in the. I think it was like a couple of years ago. I think back in 2021 when I first kind of got introduced to the community. But I actually started streaming in March of last year. So I've again literally just celebrated a year of streaming.
Okay.
And yeah, and ironically, my mom, Mother Raven, she was the one that convinced me to start this entire journey.
Really?
Actually, yeah. My mom did persuade me to do this because, again, with my acting background as well, it'd be a good way for me to, I guess, sort of showcase my talent in that regard. So yeah, she was kind of the one that inspired me to do this. She's been nothing but supportive with me, and I wouldn't be in this community, well, the streaming community, if it wasn't for her. So yeah.
That's incredible. You know, a lot of VTubers, it's a common story with them that their family members either don't support them in this sort of thing, or they have absolutely zero understanding of what it is. I know with my parents, they think of all this streaming business as a sort of podcast that I do, which, I mean, technically that is true. That's what we're doing right now. But there's far more to it than that. It's it's like a small scale version of television broadcasting when you think about it. But that level of support from the very beginning, from your own mother, that has to be such a shot in the arm, and just great fuel, because otherwise you probably would not have even considered it.
Yeah, especially because at one point she even before I became a VTuber, I always wanted to do streaming because I loved the idea of it. But that was when I was a little bit younger. But Mother Raven, she was always like, no, don't do it. I don't really like the idea of being on the internet, stuff like that, which from a parent's perspective at a young age like that, you can kind of understand. So when she gave me her full support to go through with streaming, it was literally a bit of a whiplash. I was like, wait a minute, you said however many years ago that you don't want me to do this, and now you have my full support. It was definitely a shock, but it was it was a good shock, if that makes sense, because now I have not only just her support, but the support of my grandparents as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everything that they say that everything I'm doing is I'm basically a one-woman show. It's basically what VTubers are. They're a one-woman
Absolutely.
one-man show.
We're all like Bert and Mary Poppins. We're the one-man band.
Literally, we are all a one-man band. Yeah, we are the entire circus and the
ringmaster. And the ringmaster, yes.
Yeah, and the ringmaster, yes, absolutely.
Well, that's great. Even the grandparents are behind it as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
always really encouraging, and
absolutely,
it
absolutely.
just goes to show you that you know the people closest to us, our closest family, our closest friends. You know,
Mm,
I've said for a long time that you cannot go through life living for the approval of others, but it's a bit more
true.
nuanced than that. The approval of those closest to us can sometimes just mean everything. Just
Absolutely.
having that approval, having that blessing can mean so
Mm,
much to a child or to a grandchild. And knowing that you've got it from such a loving and supportive family, and
yeah.
seeing as how your mum finally came around and as objections that were once there no longer there. I mean,
Mm.
do you think age had anything to do with that? Now that you're an adult, you're
Uh,
all grown up, and she figures, okay, now
I
you're responsible, you're ready now.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, that might have also been the case. When I was obviously when I was younger, I didn't understand it at the time. But
Mm,
looking back now, now that I've, been a bit more mature and been more independent, I can kind of understand why Mother Raven was very hesitant about me wanting to do that at a young age because of reasons that I don't really want to go into with to
sure.
people on the internet. But yeah, like I could definitely understand why looking back now with a little bit more not a little bit more life experience under my belt, I suppose. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely understand why at the beginning.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, so the concept of 19th century blood manipulating vampire
Yes.
VTuber.
Yes.
What what inspired all of that? What were the inspiration points for that?
Oh, yes. Okay. So my inspiration, seeing this as the creator, not as Blood Raven, but
Hmm.
for my vision for Raven and Crimson, her twin sister, were
Oh, that's right.
based off of I'm not sure if you guys have actually heard of this video game, but it's called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's a relatively older cult classic game based on the tabletop RPG.
Oh,
And yeah, you go around basically LA as a vampire of particular clans, basically. There's one clan in that game called the Tremere clan that are the only ones who have access to blood magic and blood manipulation. I absolutely love that game to death. And that was my main inspiration for her with like her abilities and stuff like that. I still need to workshop a little bit of the backstory because for lore wise, I haven't quite got that much yet. I just need to type it out. But that's
right.
the main inspiration for like the whole concept of Blood Raven and Crimson was purely from that game and that particular clan of vampires from said game. So it, yeah,
No,
that was my main
that's
inspiration.
really cool. That's a singular point
Yeah.
of inspiration.
Mhm.
I wonder if I mean, have you played that game on stream before, or is it
Yes,
available
I
for play?
have. I have, yes. It was originally on Steam, but I did have to get like a patch for it because I only played it once through Steam and it wouldn't let me play it again. But once I got that patch, I was able to finish the full game and again I have streamed it in the past. So it might still be up somewhere in my archives, I
Hmm.
believe. But yeah, I would heavily recommend to anyone who loves like nostalgic, cult classic, dark, atmospheric games. I would highly recommend that one. 100%.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, and of
Yeah.
course, all of Raven's links are going to be in the podcast description when this is uploaded. So you can make sure to follow her across all platforms on Twitch, on Twitter, her YouTube
Mhm.
page where all of her streams are archived along with her shorts,
Yep.
which I think are first created through Twitter, and then you download that and post it up to YouTube. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, you're able to actually create the shorts for your Twitch clips. I've done it through that,
Mm.
basically, like connected my archives to my Twitch channel and then just did it through that.
Yeah,
But yes.
I actually I saw some of your shorts and I was
Yes.
wondering was like, how did she do that? Managed to figure it out
Yeah.
with the Twitch clips feature on the
Yes.
website. I was like, oh, that's how she did it. And
Mind blown.
yes, I have since been doing that as often as I can
Yeah.
with my own streams, and I encourage other VTubers and streamers and content creators to do the same because
Yes,
it
yes, yes.
cuts down
True,
on the
true, 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 true.
workflow significantly. Um,
Mm,
it's even it's even making Action's job easier. My editor.
mm.
So yes. Let's see. Now you mentioned something that I think will kind of perk up the ears of a lot of our audience. Um,
Cool.
the um, the game in which inspired your lore is based in part
Yes.
on a tabletop RPG type game, I think, or maybe a card
Correct.
trading
Yes.
game. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
Something that you have an interest in, you're passionate about?
Yes, actually. I was originally introduced to like Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons through my brother. Just like I also, well, me loving I love like role play games, RPG games in general. So it always like interested me to like obviously we're creating the characters, and I've been doing like family nights basically of just with D&D and tabletop RPGs. I'm still very much new. I'm very much a chicken nugget when it comes to most of the mechanics of like Dungeons and Dragons. But I do love the different like fantasy worlds that the DMs, the dungeon masters are able to create for their players, and just being able to like able to create your bring all your characters to life. It's just so much fun. I love it. I love it. It's a different element of escapism, I
Yeah.
feel. Definitely.
No, and
Definitely,
I'm
definitely,
sure it's music to the audience's ears, and they're
definitely.
thinking, ah, she's just like us. She's got a
And
nat
it's like
20 in awesomeness.
oh God. Oh God. I wouldn't say I wouldn't go that far, but I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
I would.
Um, so you got started around March of 2023, which is around the time
Correct.
I got my start as well. So we were both
Oh, nice.
venturing out around that same time. Um, since that time, almost up
Mhm.
on, well, now we're into April now when we're taping this. So
Yes.
a year in,
Yes.
overall progress report. Are you at the point that you wanted to be at or not? And also, I guess
Hmm.
another question is, what happened during that year's time that just caught you completely by surprise? You did not expect at all.
Um, well, here's the thing. I feel like I will say that I didn't think I will be able to get this far, but I don't think I'm going to say that I've reached the point that I want to get at, because I always feel like there's always more room for improvement and developing yourself on my streaming journey. I
Of
am not
course.
at the place where I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm at the place where I want to be at. No, 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 no. I want to go further beyond. I want to go further beyond that. So I think definitely I didn't expect to get affiliate. I will definitely say that much. I didn't expect to get it like
Really?
so quickly. Yeah, genuinely. Like I knew I wanted to like reach down the path of becoming an affiliate, but I didn't think I would reach it as quickly as I did, because even though I became an affiliate back in September of that year, I actually got it relatively earlier than that. Something like about a few months in, I think. But I was like waiting for a little bit, like, okay, I'll get it when I feel ready, basically. But yeah, getting affiliates I didn't think I'd get. And just yeah, I didn't think I would be able to gain such a loving community so quickly too. Like I'm very happy that I've created such a you know such a sweet community, very respectful, understanding community as well. So I love my bad links. I love my bad links to death. I love you guys. I love you so much.
And counting myself as one of the Batlings, we
Yes.
definitely adore everything that you've been doing. So
Oh,
um,
thank
it
you.
it's always fun to catch your streams, and
Oh,
much like myself and like Jen, we're all sort of fitting rather nicely into sort of the comfy vibe streamers.
Yeah.
So that's I think you can never really have enough of those. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that's like also as a performer too, that does make me very, very happy to hear that I'm able to provide that element of literally the element of escapism again.
mm,
Just a little moments in where maybe like you're not doing 100% that day, you could just like come into the stream and then just for others like next like few hours, couple of hours, you just transported basically into another world. And I think again as a performer, that's the biggest priority for me as well. So so I'm very, very happy that all of you guys feel a little element of comfort when watching my stuff. It does mean a lot.
it certainly was for me. I can speak to that personally because I
Yeah.
found myself watching one of your streams at a particularly dark point in my own life. I had just
Mm.
been through a job loss and loss of many other things in my life, and so
Mm.
you and the rest of the community were there to sort of comfort me and to just, like you said, provide that escape. So I'm forever
Yeah.
grateful for that.
No, you're very welcome, I do. You're very
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So, what is the? I guess looking towards the future now. What is the end game? What does the future look
Ooh.
like for Bloodraven plays?
Well, there's definitely going to be a given for me, but I want to gain a little bit more confidence with asking people for collabs. I
Hmm.
am the shyest person, the most introverted person on the planet. I always get nervous when I think of like, oh, this could be a good idea for collab with this person, but I get so scared. I can't do it. I can't. I get so nervous. So I just guess just increasing my confidence levels a little bit to gain a little bit more courage to go and ask people rather than they them come to me, if that makes sense. But like I don't want to sit back here and wait for opportunities to come to me. I want to go out and get those opportunities myself. So
See.
yeah, I think in the future I definitely want to do more collabs and get increase my confidence again a little bit. But at the moment, just more shits and shenanigans and chaos, I think is mainly in the future.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, what sort of collabs would interest you?
Ooh,
What are you looking for?
that's a good question. Well, again, as like as a variety streamer, I'm literally down for anything. Obviously, as long as it doesn't like get me anyone in trouble with like TOS and stuff like that.
Of course.
But like I definitely do want to grow more confidence with like horror games, definitely. Like anything like with Dead by Daylight, for example. Anything like that. But yeah, literally just anything. If it like FPS, whatever. Like I'm an open book. Literally. I am an open book.
All right. All right.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I do know that recently we've just completed a collab of uh, a game that turned out to be a lot more disturbing than I think any of us had bargained for, and that's Doki Doki
Oh
Literature Club.
yeah. Yes,
Um,
yes.
yes, you and I both, you voiced all of the female characters. I voiced the MC or main
Mm.
character, and yeah, no, I have to say I was really getting into it at the end. Not only was it a
Yeah.
really engaging storyline, but your own performance really helped things, and I was able to sort of act off of that. And
Okay,
yeah,
good. Yeah, I was still I probably mentioned this like once the game actually finished, but I'm still shocked I was managed to like survive that with the amount of voices and different changes in my vocal range that I had to like adjust to every single time with each girl. Because like again with Natsuki, it's more like the high squeaky voice up here, but then when you go to Yuri, it's more softer, deeper toned. So keep going back and forth between the two was like help,
that
help.
yes, that is a challenge, and even
Yeah.
I've had to do that before with if I was like just flying solo or if there are multiple male characters in something. Yeah,
Mm,
it is not easy, and especially doing
yeah.
that live, it can be quite the ordeal on
Yeah,
your
it
vocal
can
cords, on your throat, everything.
yeah, it can be definitely daunting, especially but I all the thing only thing I would say is like and also kind of saying this as well since Jen is here. It's all about practice. It's all about practice. Like
Yes.
just keep at it as much as possible, and also try and find like a good balance, I would say, so you don't actually damage your throat and like kind of like give your throat up, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
that's your main, that's your instrument. Your voice is your instrument, so you want to make sure that's protected at all times.
Yes.
But yes, yes, Jen, you've got this. I believe in you. You're an amazing voice actress. I know you are capable of many, many things. And don't you lie to me, woman. Don't you lie to me, woman. You are
I'll lie
amazing.
to you if I want to.
No, you will not. In front of Rex, are you sure?
Yes, I'm very actually.
Okay. But I speak of the truth. I speak the truth. All it takes is a bit
Indeed.
of practice. You've got this. You've
Yeah.
got this.
I think the big thing
I'm really
between
dying.
recorded and live performances are things to keep in mind.
Yes. Yeah,
Is
definitely.
I make the analogy to opera,
Mm.
um, and specifically certain arias that have to be performed in certain operas. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's the famous one by Puccini, Nessun Dorma, near the end of the second act of no, near the beginning of the second act of Turandot,
Mm.
uh, which is one of the most iconic, probably the greatest hit of Puccini of all time. But especially that last note before the orchestra swells and you have that big finish.
Mm.
It's one that the tenor has to absolutely just belt out at the top of his lungs.
Oh God, yeah.
In
Mm.
recorded environments, I notice a big difference between performers versus live on the stage. Um,
Yeah.
like the great Placido Domingo, I notice that in recordings he will just go full force with that, and it will
Mm.
be just epic. It's just an epic performance, and it's one
Mm.
that's there on recorded medium for all time.
Yes.
Then I watch, say, his performance um, at uh, at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City,
Mm.
and it's a bit different. It's one of those where he doesn't stretch out those notes. He doesn't draw them out for very long. And the final note that he has to sing, he doesn't carry it for much longer. And
Mm.
with good reason, because that is a live performance. He does not get the sort of breaks that he would, like with a
No,
recording session.
absolutely.
That opera itself, I think, is about 2 or 3 hours long. So
Yeah.
that's an awful lot of singing for anyone involved
Yes.
in, especially the
Yes.
leading man.
Absolutely.
So you've got to make sure that you don't. There's only so much petrol in your vocal petrol tank, and so
Mm-hmm. Very true.
you've got to use it sparingly. Otherwise, you're going to run out, and all of a sudden you'll be in the middle of nowhere in a roadside ditch.
Yeah, it's very, very true. I absolutely agree. It's like little subtle things as well. Like you could definitely tell, like with like with the live performances, whether as you said with
Mm,
it's opera or in my case it was like with musical theatre productions, there's no auto tune. That's all just like
very
natural.
true.
Yeah, that's all just like natural raw vocal the vocal what's it called like vocal cords
Hmm.
working on a live stage. But when you're in a studio they can be there's more what's the word I'm trying to think of the word um more like well again like auto tune kind of kicking in a little
More
bit and other
engineering of the
equipment.
sound, yeah.
Yes, yeah, more like sound engineering as well, so
Hmm.
that's definitely going to be more that benefits more with the studio recording rather than the live recording. So I
Yes.
definitely, yes, very, very true. I agree. Again, especially for like the leading roles too, it's definitely a lot of stress. As someone who's also had to sing on a live stage as well, it's and with me having stage fright as an actress, shaky, shaky. So it's yeah, it definitely you can definitely hear the differences with like live performances and studio recordings as well.
I
Yes,
think
I
this is
agree.
a perfect opportunity to get into that if you're comfortable with it,
Oh,
because
of course.
you've made mention of it before.
Mm,
Uh, Stage theatre background, musical theatre
yes,
background, an
yes,
actress
yes,
by training,
yes.
possibly even by trade. We don't know. And also a singer, that and yet also suffers from stage fright.
Yep.
Uh, as much as you're comfortable with, do tell us about your theatre background, and
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
how
yeah,
that
yeah, of
may
course.
have played a part in bringing us up to the present day with VTubing.
Yeah, so even like when I was even when I was a lot younger, I knew I wanted to go I knew I wanted to go into something like creative. Because originally my first step into like anything within like within the creative industry was actually fashion design.
Oh, really?
Then yeah, and then and also acting too. But then I decided again with a little bit of help with Mother Raven to go into performing arts, which is a mixture of both acting, dancing, and singing as well. And I got I guess it's got a little bit of a knack for it, I guess. With I'm not the best when it comes to musical theatre. I'm not the best singer by far, but yeah, it was mainly through college where I kind of started my performing arts degree. Then it was my brief time at university for like the that 1 year, but I had to step away before mental reasons.
Hmm.
And then I just and then with everything with the VTubing and streaming, it, it's basically just improv. It's basically just this improvisation which we were taught back in university. So it's just me sort of like harnessing the skills I learned from the past to contribute to what I'm doing now. So it does make things a lot easier, I guess.
Hmm.
Going into it, because if I didn't have that experience, not saying that going down like the university route is the best route or the ideal route, but it's always good to have a little bit of experience behind you,
Hmm.
whether it's just attending like acting classes and stuff like that, which I also would definitely recommend if anyone else
Yes.
who is interested, if they don't want to go down the university route, which is absolutely fine. But always having a little bit of experience to back you up with streaming, basically. Oh my God, it helps. It definitely does help because
Hmm.
you'll then get used to what it feels like performing in front of an audience. Even though you can't see them, they can see you and they can hear you. So it's always like always good to have a little bit of experience to back you up. So yeah. And the only thing I will say though, voice acting unfortunately wasn't actually one of the things that we looked into. Like very briefly for an assessment, I think. But yeah, sadly, we never really got into voice acting, which was upsetting, unfortunately,
Hmm.
sadly. So
Yeah.
so with that, I'm quite surprised with VTubing with this character. I'm actually able to do that a little bit.
Yeah.
So but yeah.
No, we're
Mm.
we're all voice actors to an extent. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I know that my radio background has definitely helped with
Ooh.
kind of bringing things along. Whereas if I were to start with none of that experience whatsoever, I don't
Mm.
think I'd be anywhere near the level that I'm at now.
True. True, 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 true.
But yeah, no, and that's an excellent suggestion, one which
Yeah.
I've mentioned before, rarely, but is improv classes, community theater classes. You know, anything
Yeah.
that's nearby, that's local, that you can go to on like a weeknight or maybe on a weekend.
Yeah.
It not only would help you with something like VTubing and with content creation, but applicable to life, I think. You know,
Mm.
we're all. It really is true that I guess it's that old line from Shakespeare that all the world's a stage and we are but merely players.
It's
Um,
true.
yeah, it really is. It helps in terms of I because once you step out into the world, you are sort of putting on a performance, as it were, even if you
Mm.
don't think you are.
Yeah.
And it's sort of coming up with the decision of what's that performance going to look like? How do you want to present yourself to the world? Not
Mm.
necessarily for anyone else's approval, but you know what is it that would satisfy you yourself?
Yeah.
Um, so that's yeah, no, but that's excellent advice. Um,
Thank you.
what are what some of the biggest lessons I suppose you've learned on this journey of VTubing? lessons that really
Ah,
surprised you and I guess imparting wisdom to those who are just getting started out, especially because I
yes.
know we've got people in chat who are watching this as we tape live, and they
Mm.
some of them are just starting out themselves. What have you learned, and what sort of advice would you impart to anyone
Oh,
else?
a very good question. I would probably say don't be surprised on your first like couple of streams if you do experience a little bit of scuff. It's a rite of passage within within streaming. I could definitely say it's from experience. Because my first ever stream, I've talked about this many times. I was streaming Hades, the roguelike game,
Hmm.
and everything for the actual stream itself went great. The people could hear me. They could also hear the game audio. Everything was fine. So, end of stream. Then I went back to the VOD to make sure everything was okay. Silence. There was no audio coming through for the VOD. 3 hours of absolute silence because
Oh
I didn't
no!
set up the VOD recording previously.
Oh
Yeah, I
no!
know. So, again, my brother, bless him, he stepped in and assisted me with figuring out what the hell I needed to do. I eventually figured it out, and yeah, for the next stream, everything was a lot smoother. It's the point where I don't even think that stream is in my archives. It's archived within another archive somewhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, so don't be surprised if there is a little bit of scuff. Embrace the scuff. You can learn from those mistakes. Any mistakes you
Yes.
make, like, it always can be learned from. Um, I think that's the main thing for me really is like just don't get too heartbroken if there is anything, because at the end of the day, you can always learn from it and know what to avoid for next time. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely say that much.
Yeah. No, we learned very early on in my radio days, especially most
Yeah.
of our stuff was live. So if something went wrong, or if a sound bite or something wasn't available, the
Mm.
common refrain is just oh haha, the joys of live radio, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
sort of thing. You just sort of laugh it off, and it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world. Most of the audience, they understand.
Mm.
It's not like you're putting on some grand production here or anything like that.
Oh no.
It's yeah, I mean that's what happens when you're a one man band. Um,
Yeah,
Things are going to go wrong, and
absolutely.
very
Yeah.
often through no fault of your own. It happens. People get it,
Yeah.
and people are far more forgiving of that sort of thing than we give them credit for.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I myself, my entire first week of streaming, I think mercifully the VODs have been deleted because they were
Mm.
just that bad. I was a little PNG tuber that did not check my audio levels and make sure that everything sounded good. I
Mm.
had my music cranked up to max so that you could barely hear anything that I was saying.
Oh no.
So, and that went on for a week.
Oh God.
By the second week, things were better.
Yeah.
Um,
Good. Good.
Finally
Good. Good. Good.
mastered those controls, but yeah, your first few
Mhm.
streams are going to be they're going to be kind of a hot mess, and you're just going to have to
Yes.
learn to embrace that, and yeah, just not let it upset you. How you react to that sort of thing is what's going to determine uh, your success or your failure, and
Yeah.
whether or not you
True.
keep going with this sort of thing.
True.
You can let it get to you and let it break you down and make you neurotic and make you think somehow it's the end of the world, or you can
Mm.
just sort of shrug it off and say, "Oh well, lesson learned." Because believe me,
Yes.
um, it's like Raven. Well, question: how many times a week do you stream
Well, currently I
roughly?
stream about 4 times a week.
Okay,
Yeah, so about 4 times a week.
4 times a week. I'm roughly about the same. I'm about 5 or 6 times a week.
Yeah.
In that time, I mean, you have to think about that. 4 to 6 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all going for at least a couple of hours. something is going to go wrong eventually. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah, just when.
And
Yeah.
we both of us have been doing this for a year. Jen's been doing this for several years. Um, it, yeah, it just you cannot let that sort of thing bother you. It's
Mm.
just you make the adjustment and you keep going.
Yes.
And
Agree.
if anyone has an issue with that, where it's like, well, I'm not going to watch your stream anymore, da, 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 da,
Okay, then
that
bye.
yeah,
You
it's
don't
just
have to
okay.
like
See ya.
like
Sorry.
genuinely. Yeah,
Yeah,
they like genuinely like if you don't like, what you're watching or you don't like the fact that there's like a lot of scuff, why are you here? I don't want
yeah,
to be rude, but still, you don't have to watch my content if you don't like what you're watching.
yeah,
That's the thing I never seem to understand because like a couple of times as well on I think it was like mainly once on one of my YouTube shorts, I saw a comment basically saying like, "Why does YouTube always recommend like that like shit like this to me?" or something along those lines. And it's like, my guy, you didn't have to leave a comment showing your disgust. You could have just moved on.
yeah.
Like,
There's
what
an
was-
option that says not
yeah,
interested or
yeah,
show me less of this.
exactly.
At
Yeah,
worst,
exactly.
leave a thumbs down if you don't like it that
I mean,
much.
yeah, at least, at least, like my brother in Christ, like you don't have to leave a comment on everything you don't like. If anything, that's
Yeah,
just probably going to increase like, well, like the percentage of like amount of comments that's probably going to be left on my stuff. So if anything, you're
exactly.
still helping me by
Yeah,
leaving a comment.
yeah.
It's just, I can never,
You're inadvertently doing her a favor, which
yeah.
I suppose keep doing that, but just don't be a dick about it.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, that I can, that's, I will say, that's the only thing, like, I can never seem to understand when it comes, like, the mindset of, like trolls or haters, stuff like that, because of shit like this. Like,
mhm.
if you don't like my content, move on.
Yeah,
Move on to something you do enjoy. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense to me, personally.
yeah.
It just really doesn't.
Yeah. Oh no, I feel the same way. And for what it's
Yeah.
worth, your shorts do pop up in my YouTube feeds quite often, and I always
Oh.
make sure to leave a thumbs up. Um,
Oh, thank
but
you.
but also because they are quite charming shorts, and it's always
That's
fun to see them. And you post quite prolific. How often do you post shorts to YouTube, and do you post them anywhere else like TikTok or other places?
yes, I do. I do also post my shorts on TikTok. So
Okay.
this is how I usually do. This is my little mini routine ritual, quote unquote, that I usually do. So when I finish a stream, I immediately go to obviously like copy like the actual link to the VOD and then post like on Twitter saying thank you so much for joining. Here's like the VOD, da 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 da. I then go back, then export the Twitch VOD over to YouTube, do like the description and do the tags, everything like that. Then I go back to the Twitch VOD, look through the VOD to see, oh, if there are any like really good moments I could use as like highlights for this particular stream. I
Mhm.
then clip those, then save them as my clips, edit them down for the shorts, then send them over to my archives and my TikTok page as well. So that's how I've usually been doing it at the moment. So chaos, but that's just how I've been used to it, I guess.
Yes,
That's
and
that's what I usually do.
I have heard that you've made mention that editing does take up a considerable amount of your time because
Oh
you're
God,
basically
yeah.
having to relive the stream twice over,
Twice, literally, yeah.
actually doing it and then watching it back again to find clips. I
Mm,
mean, as far as your long-term goals, I imagine you would want to sort of expand your team and hire an editor and have somebody
yeah.
that can help you with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think well for right now, I'm okay with just doing what I'm doing at the moment. But if it becomes like too hectic for me in the future, then I could possibly go down to hiring an editor,
Hmm,
pretty much. But for right now, I don't mind doing what I'm doing at the moment. But that'll be for future me to figure out. So I'm not too stressed about it right now. So
right, right.
yeah. Mm,
Let's see. You're appealing to us via PNG mode through Fuji
yes.
Tech,
Yes.
just because video I think is a bit for whatever reason, it just doesn't want to cooperate with us for this for any of our collabs. Um,
Yeah.
in the future, though, are you thinking of making the move from the 3D models that you have to something that's like live 2D through VTube Studio, or do you want to stick with VC Face and Vroid for the foreseeable
You know,
future? What?
yeah, to be honest with you, like I have for a couple of times also considered going into live 2D, maybe as like my proper debut because I'm still in pre-debut stage at the moment. So me
That's
having
right.
my 3D model first, starting out using like not VTube Studios, what's it called? Vroid Studio, there we go.
Hmm.
Using that and just creating a model through there. For me starting out, that was like the cheaper option for me, and then obviously going into VC phase. But in the future, I think once I grow a little bit more, grow a little bit more, then maybe I'll go over to live 2D. But yes, I definitely do want to go into and experiment a little bit with VTube Studios because I know for a fact with the collab feature with that, it's going to make things a lot easier. But for now, say again.
Amen.
Yes,
Yeah.
it definitely will make things a lot easier in the future.
Especially with me, like me, my goddess form is actually made in Vroid, actually. And
Oh,
yeah, she's like custom made though. We literally just paid someone to make her, basically.
oh, that's fair enough. That's fair. That's
Yeah,
absolutely fair.
but like I do have like a ton of outfits for her. I was
Oh,
actually able to find a lot of resources for it.
nice.
I even learned of a website where you can get some new outfits for your model as well.
Mm.
And if it weren't for that, Jen would not have had over 100 outfits, I'm just saying.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you have an entire wardrobe. Let's go.
Oh, you should have seen it in the day.
Oh, like in
Um,
the day. Oh my goodness.
Over 100 outfits, and that was just for 1.0 Jen.
Oh my god.
I know.
Oh my god, that sounds incredible. Oh, and also another slight teaser as well. But
mm.
speaking of new outfits, I've also teased a little something as well on my
Oh.
Twitter. Yes, I've also teased a little something. Hang on, let me see if I can.
I
Yeah,
think I saw that earlier.
yeah, yes,
No,
Yes,
yes, yes.
I didn't think I want to see.
Yeah,
this
I
is
teased a little outfit.
yeah, it's a yes, formal wear from the looks of it.
Mm. Yes,
Ooh.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, there it
That's just
is.
me like experimenting a little bit with like making like different outfits. So I might bring that one into streams at some point. I don't know. I will probably still have to do a little more tweaking here and there with that particular
Hmm.
outfit. But yeah, like in the future, you may see me in more formal wear or something like that. That which I think would be very exciting.
Perfect for those
Oh, I
special
so want to see
occasions.
this
And
now.
it does look rather
Yes.
exquisite, I must say.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
no, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
And you know, different strokes for different folks. You know, with Jen,
Mm.
she's got you know this closet that would rival that of the great fashion houses.
I
Um,
mean,
and then
I
in
am
con
not thank God nothing on me.
yes.
and then in contrast, Raven, you've got what I think you have really kind of stumbled upon your signature look, which
Mm.
I have seen certain elements of your model's costume before with others. So there are a few prefab elements to it, but you
Mm.
have taken it and making it distinctively your own. Not
Yeah.
only with the not only with the Raven model, but you have another one, a doppelganger of sorts. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so this is also kind of linked to hopefully future lore for Blood Raven, but that other the darker doppelganger model that you speak of is her twin sister Crimson. She's kind of the more like sadistic twin sister who basically treats like with Raven, she has a more sympathetic towards obviously the mortals. Crimson, not so much. Like she's definitely more of like the dominant sadistic sister who always treats mortals as if they're like a little playthings, nothing but food. It always questions why ravens like are just like so keen in a good way with these particular mortals, why she has such a fascination with them. But yeah, I actually first introduced the Crimson model back in October, so it was during my Halloween event where she first appeared, and to my surprise, I did not think that people would love her this quickly. I really, really didn't. It definitely took me by surprise, and just how much love and support that the Batlings had for Crimson, the sadistic sister. So
We
I
Yeah.
am planning on bringing her back for future streams. I just don't know when yet. So be patient, bear with me. She will be back. She will return when she will return.
and
Yeah,
only
I
then.
I definitely relate. I felt similar when it came to my other two characters. I have two other
Mm.
characters. Surprise!
Ta-da! Oh my god.
Yeah, that
Yeah, two other characters I stream as, and they both have such different vocal range compared to now as Jen.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely similar with Crimson because I think the best way to describe like her vocal range, it's basically think of my depiction of Yuri in Doki Doki, like the
Mm.
deeper, softer voice with a
Mm.
Okay,
little hint of Monica's personality. If that makes
so for
sense.
mine, so my other two characters, I've got Vienne, right? You know her, like the little demon. Her
Yes.
voice. Think of Cinderfall from Ruby.
Okay. I think okay. Okay. I think yep.
And
Yep.
Okay, Cinder.
and then
Yeah, that's that sort of
hmm,
villainous type voice, which I
yes,
believe
Okay.
is
yes,
Jessica Nigri,
yes,
who's the
yes,
voice of that one. Yeah.
Oh.
yes. She's absolutely fantastic. But like Cinder as a character, she can go fuck herself.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Run
fairly
off.
wicked one. That. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, with the yeah, with the debut of Crimson, I guess it's sort of the one thing I was thinking is just never underestimate the audience's love of
Mm.
just goth girls and goth mummies and
Of course. Oh
um
god.
I
He's kind
mean
of a cultural now that I think
it's
about
a
it, yeah.
thing. It's a thing. The boys they love it, especially in our
Well,
niche of content creation. That's it's just something that they is quite beloved and yeah. It,
Mm.
it
Yeah.
it worked in your favor quite well, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's excellent. You
Absolutely.
love to see it. You love to see it.
Absolutely. And also, I actually want to give a little bit of a fact as well. That Crimson model was my original depiction of Bloodraven before I went for the purple palette.
Really?
That,
So what
yeah.
changed then?
I think for me, obviously when I was creating her, I had to do like a little bit of like research of like, okay, what's like good inspiration for creating a 19th century blood manipulating vampire.
Hmm.
And Th- and also say this as well for anyone who's starting out as a VTuber too. Always find something that will make your character stand out. Because okay, let's be real here for a second. I'm not the only vampire VTuber. I will be honest with you, I am not the only one. So I knew for a fact that if I wanted to find a way to like stand out from other vampire VTubers, not necessarily to be better than them or appear better than them, but just kind of like, have my own little make my own little have my own like little impact basically amongst others. So obviously the black, as you said, like the gothic black red vibes was kind of a common thing with most vampire VTubers.
Hmm.
Now this might just be me, but I've never really seen any like colorful, vibrant like VTubers as every single time like vampire VTubers. I never got to see one, so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna pick a nice vibrant color, a color that I really like, which is royal purple. That's my main color.
Hmm.
And I just made the color scheme fit around that one particular color, and here we are. I'm a purple vampire.
A purple vampire with one red eye and one blue eye.
Yes, which now I didn't even which okay, originally, again going back to what I had for lore ideas, is that when she was like embraced or turned into a vampire, her eyes were originally meant to turn red, but she got like the heterochromia instead. So but now but it was also brought up in stream. I didn't even realize this, but because of the red and the blue, it makes purple. So they thought I did that as like an intentional thing. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, that was definitely
Yeah,
my
sure, we'll go with
intention.
that.
We'll go with that. So it works. It definitely works, but an unintentional mistake that turned out to be a success. So I just ran with it.
Yeah, the happy accident, as Bob Ross used to always call them.
Oh, happy accidents.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're always the best, honestly.
Yeah, the
Yes.
happy accidents, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes,
No,
yes, yes.
I like that. It's those rich, deep colors that it does fit rather well into the different subcultures of kind of that gothic style.
Yeah.
And you know, even now we see what, like with your PNG tuber, you've, instead of the dark royal purple, you've got more of a lavender color scheme going on with the
Yeah.
hair, which also works quite well too. And so if you ever wanted to do more like elegant gothic Lolita, or you know, any sort of
Yeah.
style like that, you can
Mm-mm.
definitely more delve into some of the lighter, more pastel colors, and still sort of capture that aesthetic.
It
So
still
you're not
works.
necessarily
Yeah.
locked into a particular color scheme. You can always change it up later.
Mm-mm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you really didn't get too detailed or, you know, into the whole lore thing beforehand.
Mm.
So it I mean, I'm the same way. There's very little lore that exists for Lord Rexworth.
Mm.
But you do want to, I guess, eventually have something like that written down, turned into a video
Yeah.
or content or something like that.
Yeah, I really, really do, because the thing with me, and this kind of goes back with during RPG games and D&D stuff,
Hmm.
I love creating characters with really good backstories. But
Ah.
it's just with me, it's just like trying to find the time actually writing something down, even if it's just like bullet notes. It's like I can never seem to find the time, and I want to do it because it's not just that, but there's also other characters besides Crimson that I want to introduce as well. But it's also getting around to actually bringing them to life, because I've already figured out like who or what they are and like the personalities they have. But it's such just writing them down and just bringing them to life with like with an image or something like that. It's just ah.
Anything you could tease us with?
Ooh, yes, a little something. Basically, they act as Raven's like servants in her in like the Raven's Nest, like the little mansion that you see in the starting scene
Hmm.
whenever I stream. So one of them is a ghost. He is hang on, actually, wait. I think I actually have this down on a notepad. Let me actually get this up real quick. Let me get this up real quick. Hang on. Where are they? Where are they?
That's
Where
fine.
are they? Here we go. Mascots. There we go. Yes, so one of them is a ghost. He's a little bit of a mischief-making ghost with a big fluffy heart who loves like to cause pranks. He tries to help, bless him, but he always seems to cause more havoc than good, really.
Hmm.
His name is Steve. Steve the ghost. We love Steve.
Steve the Ghost. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then another character that I've created is a little bat called Bartholomew the Bat. He is my butler, basically, a gentlemanly, sophisticated, competent bat who absolutely loves coffee and always has to deal with Steve's shenanigans every single day. So,
It sounds like
we- we-
he would talk really fast.
what do you mean, Barty or Steve?
Barty,
Hmm.
just because of all the coffee he's had. I mean, we're
Um,
talking. Think John Machita, the Micro Machines man, but with a British accent.
no, I can see. I can definitely see that, but I kind of see that with you talking too fast. That wasn't my original intention, but he
Hmm.
just loves coffee. He just sips his coffee.
Ah,
And
that's right. Okay.
then yes, and then there's another one of my I think I think my main personal favorite out of all of them. I love them all, but I have a soft spot for this one. It is Quinn the Spider. She is basically my personal maid and tailor. Basically, she's very sweet, very introverted, just like me. And I also say quite patient as well. She has a lot of patience until Steve does something to annoy her, and she just kicks ass. That's basically that's basically with Quinn. She's Quinn the little spider.
Quite
It's like
quite the motley crew and rather posh
yeah,
living there. You've got your own butler slash valet and lady's
yeah.
maid.
Absolutely. But as I say, like I have these characters, but it's literally trying to find the time of like literally bringing them to life. It's like they're there, they are ready for me to use. But do
Hmm.
I have the time? No. I'm like, what is this time?
When
Help.
you do, I imagine they will become quite beloved in your lore,
Mm,
and people will love to see them. And I mean,
yeah.
you've got the makings of some great merch too. Whenever you decide to offer that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Again, that merch wise, that's going to be something for future me to figure out. But yeah, considering how much the internet probably loves like little mascots and
Hmm.
sidekicks and stuff like that, I can definitely see them being very, very popular, as is evident with Crimson making her appearance.
Yes.
But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to bring them all to life for my batlings and others to see and love and cherish. I can't wait.
Yes, absolutely. No,
Mm,
I think I should like to have a full set of those.
absolutely.
I know Jen would love to have a full set as well.
Yes, I'll be sure. I'll be sure to send over the like the Steve plushies. Like they could be there for emotional support.
There you go.
Or the
Love
Steve
that.
plushie, the Barty plushie, everything. Yeah, even some hoodies. So don't worry, you'll get the free first merch. Don't worry, you said you're
Love that.
grand.
Love that.
Steve
Yes.
plushie would look great next to a Grim plushie, wouldn't it?
Oh my God.
You know
Yeah.
what? There's an idea. Yeah, from a date with
I
Yeah.
Jennifer.
mean,
Love
I
Absolutely.
that.
mean, not only is it funny, but it's also kind of a funny reference.
Absolutely.
No big deal.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we touched on it just a little bit, but I do want to circle back. New program coming up, Coffins and Coffee with a Little Cacao.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What brought that on, and what do you want to do with it?
Yes, so again, it's still in the development stages. There's still a bit of like things I need to like consider and just tweak here and there. But my main vision was to have it as like a little chat show. So I would invite other VTubers, content creators. So for example, maybe you in the future, Rex or Jen, whoever,
Absolutely.
and we could do
Ooh.
like a mini and we could do like a little mini Q&A basically. So we ask like members of like my community, members of their community, if there's any questions that they want to ask you, obviously making sure that they're Twitch friendly and they won't, obviously respectful,
Of
of course.
course.
But yeah, we just chat for a little bit and stuff like that. Just comfy vibes, really. Just comfy.
Hmm.
And it's also kind of a me of like back to when I said I wanted to step outside of my grow my confidence a little bit and like ask people for more collabs. It's also kind of linked to that. So I thought like setting up a podcast or chat show along those lines would not only help me grow my confidence with asking people for collabs, but also getting my guests introducing other my viewers to maybe content creators they've never heard of or they don't know much about, and just introduce them to new potential people to watch. So it's support within support. So that's the main
Love that.
general gist of it. But as I said, still in the works at the
I love
moment.
that. No, and
Yeah.
I think we would, both Jen and I would be more than happy to be guests on your program whenever you'd like us. Um,
Yay.
yeah, no, I love that, and it's I do pray that you um, this is an opportunity for you to work on building up that courage because there really is nothing wrong
Mm.
with asking. I mean, the worst anyone can say is no.
That
Um,
yeah, it's true. It's
it
true.
but it is always a little bit nerve-wracking to sort of try and overcome
Yep.
initial
Yep.
fear. But you'll get there. You are stronger
Thank
than
you.
you think, and I can see this growing quite exponentially, and
Aw, thank
you
you.
interviewing a lot of big names and having them on your program, and
Oh my God.
don't be afraid to. One thing I will encourage you: don't be afraid to reach out for people that you perceive as, I guess, a bigger star than yourself.
Mm,
Definitely, there's something to be said about helping the rising stars, the people who are just starting out. Um,
yeah.
that is highly commendable, and it's
Thank
something
you.
that I myself, another gentleman, Sebastian Valentine, does as well. I've always
Ooh.
admired him for
Ooh.
that, and yeah, it's. But I guess there's just sort of a balance to strike. But definitely don't be afraid to reach out for the big stars and ask them for a little bit of their
Yeah.
time. Because
Okay.
I'm
Mm.
certain many of them will be happy to oblige.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I hope so as well. But with just the confidence thing, I just need to work on that a little bit. But I'll be able to gain a bit more courage in the future. I know I can, but
You'll
but
get
right
there.
now it's just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, but I know I'll overcome that someday. And thank you for the advice. Thank you for the advice, my lord. I
Of
appreciate it.
course,
Thank you
of
so
course.
much.
Yeah, it all just boils down to hold your breath, count to 3, and dive right in. That's really
Yes,
all you can do.
absolutely. Mm,
Final question.
yes.
Um, Legacy-wise, how do you want to be remembered when all of this is over with, and when many of us have, I guess, parted ways or moved on, or when we're all long gone? What do you want to be remembered for?
Uh, oh God, that's a deep question that I did not think about. I, I don't really know. I just guess like I guess I want to be remembered as uh a safe place to return to. If there's ever like a moment where you just kind of like even if I'm not doing VTubing anymore, if I've graduated, which won't be happening anytime soon, knock on wood.
Hmm.
But if there's ever like a time where you kind of just want to go down memory lane and just experience a little bit of comfort, there's always like my previous like content you could always go back to. So and it's always, and as I always say, it's always a safe space, regardless. So but yeah, just I would say that a safe place for people to return to when they need a little moment of comfort in their life, I guess.
All right. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Blood Raven Plays, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
on the
for having
podcast.
me. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I will be honest, I was actually really nervous about this.
No, it's you did fantastic. And
Thank you.
Jen, I'm so sorry. Did you have any questions that you had for Raven here?
Mm. Do you have any
No,
questions for me?
Okay.
no, not really. No.
Oh,
All right
okay.
then. No,
That's
no,
okay.
that's yeah,
All good.
perfectly fine. No.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, thank you so much. And again, everyone, links to all of Raven's socials, her Twitch page, her YouTube page, everything will be posted in the show description. Thank you all
Mm-hmm.
for joining me on this episode of the Lord Rexworth podcast. I hope these discussions have ignited your curiosity, sparked inspiration, or just provided a moment of relaxation. To stay connected with the podcast and access additional content, be sure to visit my website at lordrexworth.com and follow me across all platforms there. That's lordrexworth.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform so that you never miss an episode. Your support fuels our journey to continue bringing you engaging conversations and even some soothing ASMR experiences. As we conclude today's episode, remember, your mind and spirit are powerful forces, and we encourage you to embrace the positive energy you've gained here. Until next time, take a moment for yourself, stay inspired, and continue exploring the boundless possibilities that life has to offer. Visit lordrexworth.com and be a part of our growing community. Thank you for being with us on the Lord Rexworth podcast.